1, 2, 3, tuning into what's hot like a cup of tea. The Burp is live, it's time to feast with BLT icon bringing you the heat. Static on the dial and the crackle in the air, feeling like a rebel in the days wear and tear. The BLT icon's pouring out the noise, tuning into the Burp with the glitch and poise. Let's go!
Banter mixed with a dash of wild, keep your brainwaves swirling, keep your thoughts unfiled. Nothing is too strange, no tale is taboo. Catch up with the icons, there's always something new. Hot takes cooler than a summer breeze, hidden gems uncovered with the greatest ease.
All right, guys, we are back. Episode 3 of Formula One. I got my best buddy here, T-West. We go way back with cars. Way back.
Oh my God, so far back.
I mean, it goes back to like hot rodding our very first cars we ever got, and they did not deserve it.
Oh man, come on, you can't go wrong with the Cavalier, the Aries, the S10, the Grand Prix.
The S10 was special. It was special. I will say that.
Dude, we tried to pimp out lawnmowers.
We did. They were almost as fast as the Formula One cars back in the day, I want to say. But
lower to the ground.
I am very honored to have you here, T-West. Today, we are going to dive into more Formula One. Today, we're going to talk about the Chinese Grand Prix. A couple guys got disqualified from the race, it turns out. We're going to talk about that. A huge driver swap I am so excited for. Oh, I'm so excited for it, and I can't wait to talk about it. And then we're going to go into the next Grand Prix, the Japanese Grand Prix. It's not this weekend. It's the weekend after. So they do take weekends off.
What?
But hey,
that's weird.
Yeah, they take weekends off. It's not like NASCAR every single week going in a circle. But got a question for you, big guy. What are you drinking tonight?
Whew, all right, I did not prepare for this test. So I'm keeping it super simple, and I'm going with a Michelob. Again, for a fat guy, it's only got 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and you know what? I don't feel like such a big back afterwards, fatty. I mean, I am, but I don't feel as bad after I have one of these. So this is by no means an ad for Michelob, but you know what? Go Michelob. You guys are winning right now. Keeping the fat guy happy.
You're going to come in wearing all this Michelob stuff. You're going to have your own NIL deal for Michelob.
Come on. If Dom Toretto's not going to sponsor me for drinking Corona, Michelob better sponsor me just because.
Yeah, I'm shocked you're not drinking a Corona for, Dom Toretto, cars, racing, all that stuff.
It made me fatter.
Yeah. So I might have to stop drinking this.
What are you drinking, Lucka?
Berry lemonade and vodka. It's, this one's a thickie today too.
Ooh. You know what? Some days you just need would you call it a thickie?
Yeah, I didn't realize what I said until I said it.
That's what one of my thighs says to the other. Like, hey, what's up, thickie? As they're like rubbing against each other, chafing, like, nice job, fatty. So.
Oh man, you're too rough on yourself, man. Oh boy. Well, you could be a Formula One driver. You're not too tall. That's a positive for you.
I'm so short. I would fit in, and I can't go there with those jokes. My bad.
Oh my goodness.
Let's talk about that Chinese Grand Prix where I won't fit in because I'm too.
Well, I mean, you're probably taller than all the Chinese.
That's what I didn't want to be that guy.
There.
I didn't want to be that guy.
Well, all right. The Chinese Grand Prix. Yep. It was okay. It was a dry weather race. Billy and I had talked about that. Dry weather, no rain. They thought maybe at the end of the race there might be a little bit of rain. These guys aren't like little pussies. They actually drive in the wet weather, which is really cool. Don't normally get that in every other series, especially like NASCAR. Even though they have wet weather tires now, they don't ever use them because of high speeds and blah, blah, blah. Who cares about them? The Chinese Grand Prix. It was Oscar Piastri from McLaren started off in first place. He finished in first place. That's how good that car is this year. His counterpart started third place and moved up into second place and finished there. The one unique thing that happened there is McLaren got a 1-2. That is tough to do in this sport. That's how you know that car is really dialed in and they got really good drivers. The other thing is at the end of the race, Lando's brakes gave out. He almost didn't finish. He almost got passed up by the car behind him. because he literally had no brakes going across that line.
Oh man, that's crazy.
It was one of those nail biters once it got to the end there. It was pretty cool that way. Other
Who
than
was this?
that,
Lando?
Lando Norris. That
Oh, I
isn't
thought
that
it was
not
Lando
like
Calrissian from Star Wars.
a
Driving the Millennium Falcon around and ran out of brakes and shit. Sorry, no. Sorry, go ahead.
You
Lando,
know
what?
what? I've always wondered, where did he get his name from?
I don't know, right? Like he was driving fast in a snowstorm, thought he was in the Millennium Falcon, and that was that.
Yeah, maybe that was that. Maybe his parents are giant Star Wars fans.
That could
I
be.
guess we won't know until he answers my text messages, which is never going to happen.
Okay.
But as far as the rest of the race, it was pretty standard. There's a couple moves back and forth. Tire strategy was a huge one on this one, whether to do 1 pit stops or 2 pit stops. The thing that killed a couple teams are they came in for 2 pit stops, and then they just couldn't catch up and pass the cars and get back up to where they were, or even advance, go farther than the guys who went with 1 pit stop. They found out that the tires didn't disintegrate nearly as fast as what they thought they would. So it was a gamble. And unfortunately, anybody who had 2 pit stops lost out big time.
Gotcha. What
Yeah,
let me ask you a question right then and there.
Yeah.
So just knowing from what I know of like a NASCAR pit stop,
Mhm.
what does an F1 pit stop look like?
You go in, you park it, the whole thing goes up, tires off, tires on, down, out. They do these pit stops in anywhere from like 2 seconds to 2.5 seconds if they're really dialed in.
Okay.
Anything more than 2.5 seconds, they kind of suck and they need to work on it.
Now that's amazing to me that 2.5 seconds can cost you like to a point where you can't catch up. So that's incredible to think. So.
Yeah, there is so much strategy that goes into Formula One racing. It blows my mind. And to go on the other note, even though you raced the best that you could, there were still 3 guys that got disqualified from the race: Gasly, Lewis, and Leclerc, which I didn't find out until later that they got disqualified, and that's pretty unfortunate. So,
Hold on, did you just say Lewis and Leclerc?
yeah, Lewis Hamilton and
Oh
Charles
man,
Leclerc.
that's almost like Lewis and Clark. Come on, I mean, I love this. Sorry, I'm thinking like, are these guys like trekking the F1 series, like creating new tracks like that? Come on, that's awesome. Lewis and Clark, F1 champ. Oh, I'm sorry, they're getting disqualified, dude. Okay. How does somebody get disqualified from an F1 race?
So this one was a couple different things. They have to have their car weigh a certain amount. You know, you said in the previous podcast, hey, if you aren't cheating, you're not trying. Well, in this, because of the past history of Formula One and people trying to do whatever they could to make their car that much better, in this, they have so many rules and regulations that your car has to weigh a certain amount. Well, 2 of these 3 cars were just under that weight requirement, meaning who knows what happened.
I thought for a second they just kicked Pocahontas off their car, but never mind.
Well, it's not a 2-seater; it's a 1-seater.
Oh,
So,
see, okay, like bitch, get out.
right? I have no idea what happened that they somehow were underneath the weight requirement. The
Yeah.
third one was the bottom of their car. They have to have a 9mm plank, and this means they scraped off too much of it, which means they didn't have a legal ride height. They were sitting lower, which explains why they're so much faster than everybody else. So it's like, nah, you're out. So it's a fine line, but it's crazy. They get the regulations in the off season, and every single one of these manufacturers try to bend the rules as much as they can in their own interpretation. So it's like your wife says, I have a headache tonight. I don't feel like doing anything. And you took that as maybe.
Well,
There's still a chance.
So let me. You mentioned that there's a 9mm plank underneath their car, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the equivalent of 9mm to the actual measurements of like real standards, American standards? Like 9mm, is that like 3/4 of an inch?
I don't know. To be honest, I'm really bad. I said, like, I was talking about Celsius in the other podcast. I don't know the conversion. I'm a dodo that
Like,
way.
when I think of 9mm, I think it's like 3/4 of an inch. Well, okay,
Yeah.
this is actually like 3/4 of an inch, right? And
Yeah.
that's like,
Yes.
okay, that makes more sense. Like,
Yes.
I mean, 3-4 inches of snow. That's a lot of
This is
snow, right,
8 inches.
ladies?
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
I
Right?
mean,
Like,
yeah. This is wait. No, this is 8 inches. Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
this
I
is
did it
8
the wrong way.
inches.
This is like
This is a
100.
good 12 inches, right? Well, actually,
Yeah, yeah,
but you know what I mean, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I understand your math. So
I usually go by like measuring the snow here in Wisconsin, where if it's like it's a good 2-3 inches, and my wife's like, "Oh, that's a cute amount." I'm like, "Oh," so, but whatever.
because she's born in Wisconsin and raised there,
Yeah, well, that's a
it's
cute
tough.
amount of snow. But you know what? There's people like who don't see snow, so that's got to be a lot. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
that is a lot. There's a reason why I moved to Arizona.
We're talking
That
about
was a
meters, FYI. Just
Yeah, that
saying.
was a dig on myself. I just realized. Son of a gun. Dang it. All right. Well,
Sorry, I got you off
you
topic.
could
Let's get
go.
back.
You
Let's
could
talk
go to
about
the. You could go to the Chinese Grand Prix,
okay.
and you know what? You would be Godzilla in more ways than one. Even though that's a Japanese reference, you would be like King Kong over there.
That was a little teaser for later.
Oh, it was. I like
Yeah.
that one. Thanks for picking up on that. But
So
here's
okay. So besides the DQs, thank you for
yeah.
telling me about like how people can get DQ'd. And I
Mhm.
mean I really didn't know that you could have. I get it being underweight, but it's like, man, it's kind of crazy that you have all these things. Like, okay, when I think of a car, an F1
Mhm.
car, am I thinking of like Indy cars, or are
Yeah,
these
in a
like,
way.
or are the McLarens? Do they look like the McLarens that we would see out on the road, just
No,
like
it's
souped
it's a
up?
lot like IndyCar,
Okay,
just more formed into like a rocket ship. It just is the most perfect possible rocket ship car that you could ever see.
okay,
And it's delicate too. It's all carbon fiber. So that's the thing about the bottom of the car there. It's like your car. If you put your car lower just a little bit and you mess with your suspension just a little bit, and say your Ford Escort, and I didn't do that on my Honda Civic, and I'm wondering why you're pulling away from me in turns. That's it right there. And going through those turns, you're grinding off the bottom plate, and they check that stuff at the end of the race. Like, oh, that's completely grinded off. You didn't
ah,
have a legal suspension setup. You cheated. You got more aerodynamics. You're able to go faster than everybody else because of your setup.
and
You're right.
FYI, I think it was all due to my spoiler on my Escort.
Yeah. You know what? You might get into Formula One next year because Ford is going to be part of Red Bull next year.
God, I'm
Yeah.
so not a Ford guy anymore. I'm sorry.
Oh, what kind of truck do you have? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You got a Chevy now.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. Oh, the ZX2.
yep.
Such
Good
memories.
old days. I mean, that thing was as close to a Formula One car as I've ever seen back in the day. So you were
You know,
halfway there.
did I ever tell you that thing came back to bite me?
How so?
So I traded it in for when I had gotten a Jeep Liberty, and got it from a dealer back at a city called West Bend at the time, right? Same dealer you got your Civic, actually.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
that. So
Sketchy a-holes.
so anyway, I traded in my ZX2, which at the time the body kit was beat up. I hit a turkey, the front bumper blew up.
I
So
remember that.
just random Wisconsin shit, right? So did that, traded in, got my Jeep Liberty. Years later, like I don't even know how many years later, all of a sudden I have a warrant for my arrest in Chicago, Illinois. And
What?
I'm like, what the fuck is this, right? Like, turns out I had under my name apparently thousands of dollars worth of parking tickets and unpaid
What?
impound fees and things like that. I'm like,
No way.
what? So here I had, luckily I held on to my contract with said dealership from trading in my car, but it turns out my car, my Escort ZX2 at the time, was turned into a drug running car up and down I-43 going from
Wow.
and it got impounded because someone just left it on the side of Chicago, and then
That
they never registered it in their names.
that
So
is insane. I don't even know how they let that go.
yeah,
That is nuts.
so someone just took my car and was running drugs up and down 43, and apparently
What
it's
to
still mine,
know? What to know, T-West?
right?
That is
Fine.
crazy. Wow.
Like I did not get arrested. I did not have to sit in the back of a cop car. I've still only done that once, which was with you, and
It was a fun time, wasn't it?
Dude, never stick your head out the window, please.
I haven't done it since. Oh,
Okay.
no, I take that back. Billy's Bachelor probably did it downtown Milwaukee. Son of a gun, I will never learn my lesson.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
Okay.
get back into this.
All right.
There's something else huge happening. I am super excited to talk about. It's with this team, Red Bull, the guy who should have been driving. Yep. He gave one of these guys wings, not the other one. I don't know what he was doing. But Liam Lawson is out. I gave him 7 races to have that car. He lasted 2. I'm smiling beyond belief because the guy who is in the car now, Yuki Tsunoda, is the guy who should have been there to start with if it wasn't Checo. And I am so happy for this. I'm happy. So
they just switched drivers?
So okay, let me explain this a little bit.
Yeah, how does the driver switch work, or how does it happen?
Yeah. It's way different than how we switch work. It is nothing like it. So Red Bull has a sister team called the Racing Bulls. So they have 2 teams in Formula One, technically. They have their sub-drivers who are kind of training to be in the better Red Bull car once they become fast enough. And that's where Yuki Tsunoda is, and then Isaac Hadjar is the other driver there. Well, because they're all in the Red Bull stable, there are Red Bull contracts, they can swap the drivers because remember, I said this in the past, each team has a constructors championship. That team needs to do good together, not just the driver. The driver has its own championship, but the team needs to do really good, like with both drivers. So hey, he finished dead last. Guess what, buddy? You need to vamos,
get out,
as Checo would say. And in comes Yuki. So Yuki should have had the spot. Yuki's had back-to-back great races. Unfortunately, he got a little messed over this past race because they were one of the teams that did the 2 pit stop strategy. It didn't quite work out for them. But he's showing what he can do. And he's driving like his life depends on it. And he wants a Red Bull seat. So he's getting his chance. All in time for Japan. And
you're right.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
well, hold on. Before we get to that, I want to stop you. Before I want to know more of why is this? Maybe you mentioned it just before with the constructor thing, but why is this such a big deal that Yuki and Liam are swapping? This is big, right?
This is huge because Red Bull has now a driver lineup that's capable of scoring points and moving them up for the constructor's title.
Okay, you did mention that. Okay,
yeah, and it's so big. I strongly dislike Liam Lawson.
Big.
Yeah, so big.
Sorry.
And here's the best part. Yuki is from Japan. The next Grand Prix that's going on is the Japanese Grand Prix. It's his home race, and he gets to do it in a Red Bull. And it's also, I didn't mention this, it's the last year of his contract.
With Red Bull?
So with Red Bull. After this year, he gets to go to whatever team he wants.
Okay.
And so he's racing for that Red Bull seat, and he gets to do it in his home country. How amazing is that?
That's pretty epic. Epic.
So going into the Japanese Grand Prix, it rains there a lot for the Japanese Grand Prix. And I always say if it rains, Max Verstappen, the other guy at Red Bull, he's a 4-time champ. He's won the last 4 titles. He normally wins when it's in wet weather. I said also in my predictions, if Lando can fix his wet weather driving, he could very well win the race too. Well, he did for Australia, and he won that race in the wet. I was absolutely surprised with how well he drove. So if it rains, flip a coin between the two. If it's dry, I mean, you kind of have to flip a coin between the 2 McLaren drivers. Both of the McLaren drivers are showing that they can both drive that car really well. My bold prediction. This is my wet dream prediction. This isn't a bold prediction. This is a wet dream prediction.
Okay, good.
Yuki finishes on the podium. That means he finishes in the top 3. That's so unlikely. First time in a car, driving it. There's no way that happens, especially because that Red Bull isn't that fast. But I do think he does end up with a top 10 at least. at
Okay.
least.
So let
So
me ask you this question quick before you finish your wet dreaming.
yeah.
If Max Verstappen doesn't take podium, should he get stepping?
Oh boy.
Ah,
No,
come on. That
no,
was a
he
dad joke.
shouldn't.
That was a dad joke.
That was a really good one too. I mean, you can mess with all 20 drivers with their names.
Dude, I'm like 3 for 3 right now.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
Yukio, it's pretty close,
you're I
If
haven't
he goes
said
fast,
anything
it's a
about
Yuki go, right? Like, I'm sorry. God, I'm a dick. Sorry. All right,
Hey,
finish
at
your
least I
wet dream
didn't
for me.
say Lance Stroll because Stroll likes to stroll into a wall quite a bit. Yeah, he's done that quite a bit. But Japanese Grand Prix is pretty straightforward. I think we're already seeing how this season's going to shake up. Yeah, it's going to be McLaren. Ferrari's not quite there. Although they do have some bright spots. Red Bull's definitely not there, but Max Verstappen's a beast. Uh, Mercedes, that car is hanging around. I don't like George Russell. I do like Kimi Antonelli, but I, they're just there. I'm not a huge Mercedes fan at all.
That's fine.
Yeah. So I just think it's McLaren's to lose. So that's
Okay.
my view of the Japanese Grand Prix.
So this is a pretty big Grand Prix event. Like, talking to you
Mhm.
outside of this, you were like super, super excited. So, like, are there additional reasons as to why you're so excited for this Japanese Grand Prix?
Yeah. It's literally all this Yuki, Red Bull, home race. It's meant to be. I will be on the edge of my couch. And I've always wanted to go to Japan. It is one of the things that is near and dear to me. Who knows? Maybe I'll end up moving out there next year if things don't pan out. That's how serious I am about Japan. And the culture, just how amazing the fans are at the race. The food at the race looks phenomenal. I wish I was there to eat it. The whole
No, it's
entire race, just in general, is just so magical. You go flying down that straight, and then you got a bunch of curves where you go like this. Then you go all through a back straight, which you go really fast into this sharp chicane, and some guys don't make that chicane go flying off. Like, it's a pretty cool track. It's a really fun race. Plenty of places to pass people, so it's
I'd,
not boring where they're just sitting there behind each other going in a circle.
I'd be one of
So
those that drove off the road and I'm like, chicken, chicken.
well, you hit anything, there's a chance you just blow up. You disintegrate. Like these cars.
Okay. And that's
Lots of
surprising
drivers
for
have died
carbon
in.
fiber. That's surprising because carbon fiber, right? That's one of the strongest, if it's done
Yeah,
right, one of the
yeah,
strongest materials that you can like mold and put together out there. So, but
yeah.
I guess if
But
you're going fast into a wall, that's not good.
200 into a wall,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
it's wide open. All you guys, they call it a halo, where it goes around you. That's all that protects you. Do me a favor and look up 2020 Roman Grosjean
Mm,
accident.
yeah.
His car literally blows into pieces, hits a guardrail, splits into two, and he explodes on fire. Somehow the guy got out of that car with only like horrible burns and doesn't die.
Well, I mean, that's good, right? That he didn't
Yeah,
die.
but his car explodes on impact, and he wasn't even going 200.
Ooh, a French driver, Roman Grosjean. Interesting. I'm trying to look it up right now. Yeah, not a lot of people are shouting that, so I'll check it out later. I'll
All
check it
right,
out later.
definitely.
I can just imagine how bad it was though. So, but luckily
Yeah.
he is alive.
Yep. Well, on that note, that's about all I had for this podcast.
Okay.
Talking about Japanese Grand Prix, talked about Yuki Liam swap, a couple of cars that got DQ'd, and then the
Yukio.
Chinese Grand Prix. It happened. I'm hoping the Japanese Grand Prix is a lot more eventful on the track, not after the race.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Next week, we're gonna, or not next week, we're gonna take a week off, and then after the Japanese Grand Prix, gonna hop back in. We'll see if you're available, see if Billy's available, who wants to chime in and hang out, and we'll have a good time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, we kind of get to learn. Billy was in last week. I was in this week, and we get to learn a little bit more from you. So like everyone, learn along with us if you don't know about the F1 series. So Lucca is kind of taking us through. Today we got to talk about. I didn't know you could get like disqualified and what a driver swap looks like. Kind of. I don't know if it's like wife swap and they do the things afterwards, but whatever.
There is a lot of drama, like a wife swap. Yeah.
See, there's always drama. Always drama.
Always. But hey, I appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah,
I enjoy talking about F1. I talk your ear off all year long about it. And the fact that you guys are willing to come on here with me and learn a little bit more about it, I greatly appreciate, man.
Hey, sports, bro.
Sport. All right. Well, that's all for us here at the Burp Podcast. We will see you guys in a couple weeks.
Tell your folks to say hi. Lucca, or you say or bye.
No, not this time.
Not this time? I still have
Bye.
There we go.
Tuning into the Burp. Let's get it. Let's get it. Into the Burp. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. This has been a presentation from the Ball.
Ball and Productions.